to listen to this team in terms of the commitment and what they are determined to do. And I would like to thank you for coming and being with us here. I won't speak on behalf of the Mandela Foundation because Mandela is here. But I want to say just a few things that we want to thank the Mandela Foundation for ensuring that they don't deviate from what Mandela committed himself to. It does not matter how much pressure they are subjected to. I just wanted to refer to that quote of Mandela for these Zionists who are trying to say Mandela, this is not Mandela's vision. And I just want to say Mandela made it very clear that we know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians. And the world can never be said to be free until the Palestinians are free. So I just want to say I represent the South African chapter from the anti-apartheid movement in support of Palestine. And I want to say to these South Africans who think that they represent South Africa by attacking the Mandela Foundation, I want to say the South African chapter represents millions of South Africans. And it includes the trade union movement, and there are millions. The South African Council of Churches is like about 20 million followers. The Muslim Judicial Council and their structures represent most of the Muslims in the country. The South African Jews for Palestine represent the Jewish voice in this country. They are students, they are community leaders, workers. So I just want to say what you saw when you traveled around South Africa, that's South Africa. And we support the Mandela Foundation. We want to say hands off Mandela Foundation. We want to say hands off the chair of the Mandela Foundation because there's an attack on the former minister, and I want to say hands off. We as South Africans will make sure that nobody touches this foundation. The second thing I want to say is about the world. We have released a statement and I'm encouraged by this collective. Gaza has debunked the lies of Western powers. And Gaza has unmasked them to be what they really are. And when I say Western powers, I don't mean the people. We are mobilizing the people to be with us. So we want people in the United States, Britain, France. That's what we did against the apartheid system. We mobilized the people who took on their own governments because of the colonial way in which these governments think. So we just want to say to the world that think they can treat us the way they treated us during slavery and colonialism. We're not able to connect with each other. Today, we are able to connect. And you can see from the network that is here. And we just want to say the colonial way of thinking and white supremacist way of thinking that Europe and the United States will continue controlling the world must come to an end, and we're going to get it to an end. We can't be, we're not children, can't be treated like children. You can't bomb Gaza then say we've got a solution and we've got a ceasefire, and then the Gazans respect the ceasefire and they bomb them every day. And the Western countries say absolutely nothing. It's hundreds of people being killed since the ceasefire. We also want to say you can't come and colonize, bring the colonial way of thinking again. They're taking us to 500 years ago. I mean, what they are doing in Gaza now, it's a colonial force that's going to subject people of Palestine to further oppression. It's not a solution. It's not a peace solution. Actually, they don't even make Gazans to have a say in it, which is what they did to us. Now, we just want to say to the United States, Britain, France, everybody, your time has come to an end. I think the people of the world will take on this ideology that thinks others are not human beings, they are the only human beings. And so would like to say we support this campaign. And this is the best campaign you can have. We must get the whole world acting now that it is sea and land. You know, those who are on land, they didn't know what to do because they don't have a sea. Now we can do it both in the sea and on land. And we will mobilize in South Africa. We've committed ourselves. Those who are South Africans, the way we mobilize through the United Democratic Front, we're going to do it province by province, region by region, sector by sector, street by street. Those who want to put us under pressure to stop supporting Palestine and stop the case in the International Court of Justice are making a big mistake, because South Africans are not going to allow it. It doesn't matter how much pressure, how much power, we will take a stand. And I just want to say, we support this campaign, we are part of it, and we're going to make sure South Africa participates.
Thank you, Hannah. Hannah insisted that I must speak. I heard that my fellow comrades and brothers and sisters are here, and I was coming to greet with my wife, Rabia, seated at the back, and we were thrown into this press conference. But this is how Hannah operates. So she always tells us, do this, do that. So it's expected of her. Allow me to greet everyone who's attending this press conference, to all our guests, comrades and friends that have traveled afar. Welcome to our humble home and our beloved country, South Africa. Respected members of the media who are here with us, good afternoon, and all other solidarity groups. I'm Nkosi Zwelvelile Mandela, one of the participants of the Freedom Flotilla that has been part of the flotilla for a number of sessions now. I think we were with our comrades and friends in April 2024 in Istanbul, Turkey, when we attempted to sail and never got to sail because our flag was withdrawn. We then strategized again and came together in the global march to Gaza, where we flew 4,000 comrades of ours into Cairo, Egypt, going to support what the Egyptian government has been putting to the global community, that they are calling for an immediate ceasefire and the opening of the Rafah border crossing. We supported their call, yet we were denied an opportunity to get to the Rafah border crossing. How ironic. We then came and put together the global Sumud Flotilla, which was also with the global Sumud convoy that had left from Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and into Libya during our land trip into Egypt. So that brought us together with the global Sumud Flotilla. It was seen in 2 chapters to sail out of Barcelona and Tunisia. I'm very proud at this moment to see all our comrades have traveled from across the globe. We have Safe here, has come all the way from Barcelona, but the comrade and brother here all the way from Malaysia, Smera all the way from Germany, she's Turkish. But we have my brother here, Tiago, has come all the way from Brazil, Tony all the way from Italy, but Tara all the way from Ireland, Patrick from Luxembourg, and then right from the northern tip of Africa to the southern tip of Africa, we've got our brothers all the way from Tunisia, who I'm very proud to see being here with us. We also have our comrades from Norway. Want to thank you for having taken this initiative, Hannah, to say that we will make the 2026 announcement for this year's mission in South Africa, in the land of our founding father of our democracy and our global icon, President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. How profound that we are here at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. It's not the Mandela Foundation, Reverend Chika, the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Because Rabia will walk out and tell my son that, you know, you have a foundation name. Because my son is Mandela. And the second son is Rolihlahla. So it is necessary for us in the family to say that it is Nelson Mandela Foundation before Rabia has other ideas. But for us, having as a family, first and foremost, witnessed the pressure that the Nelson Mandela Foundation finds itself on standing for Madiba's legacy. And we have people that want to distort this legacy and claim that Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was a friend to Israel. I want to put it on record that my grandfather was a friend to Comrade President Yasser Arafat, Muammar Gaddafi, and to Fidel Castro. These men, he not just considered as comrades, but brothers in arms. They stood side by side with him during our darkest days in history, inspired him, and not only paid lip service in supporting our cause, they put finances and resources enabling us to fight the apartheid regime. None of us can ever forget the role of the Cubans at the Battle of Puto Valley in Angola, where they sent 5,000 troops to fight side by side with us and defeat the apartheid regime. From then, they were on the retreat, and we knew that we will realize our freedom in our lifetime. Reverend Chikane, my grandfather, didn't mix his words when he said our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian people. This is a commitment he made to the Palestinian people. And now that he's no more, he's handed the baton to all of us to ensure that just as ordinary citizens across the globe rose in support of our struggle during the anti-apartheid movement and went across the UK, across Europe, into America, boycotting every product from South Africa. And you know, Tara, I'm going to mention Mary Manning at this point, because we need to understand that this is about young people needing to rise to the occasion and speak truth to power. Mary Manning, a 21-year-old lady working a dance store in Dublin, refused to handle a grapefruit out of South Africa. She walked out. 12 of her co-workers walked out with her. And none of them at the time in 1984 knew what the impact of this simple act could become. It became a global campaign. And everyone in Liverpool, in Manchester, Lagos, and San Francisco Bay, dock workers rallied behind the cause. And we as South Africans owe our freedom to those simple men and women that crisscrossed the global community in support of our cause. We come together in the global Sumud Flotilla because of acknowledging that as a collective across the globe, we can isolate apartheid Israel, collapse it and bring it to its knees, just as we did to apartheid South Africa. We therefore want to take this opportunity, comrades and friends, to call on the entire global community. The registration is now open for Mission 2026. We are calling on all solidarity groups to join forces with us, worker unions to join forces with us. It's often said that the Palestinian cause is sometimes misunderstood to be an Islamic cause. It is not an Islamic cause. It is a humanity issue. It is for those that want to rise and stand for justice and dignity for all. And we therefore want to call on all faith organizations to come together. It's not often spoken that Archbishop Thabo Makgoba has come out and said the Anglican Church of South Africa is in full support of the Palestinian cause. Many other Christian-based organizations and faith, religious-based entities are supporting the Palestinian cause. And we call on them to support the global Sumud Flotilla. We're calling on worker unions and worker formations to support us. During the flotilla, we were with members of parliament from various countries that were intercepted and incarcerated with us. We therefore want to call on all members of parliament who support the Palestinian cause to join us. And we call on our president, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, to implement what was adopted by our national parliament to expel the Israeli ambassador and close down the embassy. And this has been the call of our parliament. How we would love to see members of parliament join us on this mission. It has been said that it is not only by sea, we will also mobilize by land. Now, let us be explicit on this comment, because in the last mission, over 30,000 of us registered for the mission. We procured 70 boats, of which only 48 finally were able to sail and were fit to sail, meaning that we had a reduced number, just under 500 comrades that could sail with us. But many of our comrades became land support. We therefore say that even this time around, if we are able to get 100 boats, maybe that can still limit us to 1,000 participants or 3,000 participants. But on land mission, we expect hundreds of thousands of you to sign up and to mobilize entry through Egypt, through Lebanon, through Jordan, and every other border that is feasible for us to get into occupied Palestine and to Gaza. The mission is not solely focusing on Gaza, but we are also clear of the violations that we have been witnessing in occupied Palestine in the West Bank. And therefore, we want to mobilize the entire global community to join forces with us and accompany us and ensure that we are able to stop the genocide in real time. They speak about a ceasefire, while on a daily basis, Palestinians are being bombed and killed. We count on you and we call on the respected members of the media to share this far and wide. Your fellow comrades and colleagues in the media have been bombed and killed in Gaza, almost totally eliminated. And we count on them daily to share the news, capture the atrocities of this genocide and ethnic cleansing that we are witnessing on real time, and through the electronic intifada and social media, we get it out in real time. We therefore have seen them doing that because we are witnessing protests and marches in every major city and major town right across the globe. You too can be that force to ensure that the truth gets out. The world must see what is happening in Gaza. We therefore want to thank you for having taken time to join us in this press conference. We look forward to seeing you all in the Global Sumud Flotilla Mission 2026. It always seems impossible until it's done. I thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Chief Mandela. So now we're going to go into a Q&A. Any steering committee members who would also like to engage in this Q&A, I will invite up here. And we'll do kind of 3 questions at a time, and I'll distribute those questions. And we'll all stand.
Oh, guys.
Come on up.
Por quais Susan? Yes, sir. Sit.
All right, who would like to ask a question?
Okay.
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Salado Mopidere. I'm a journalist with Sumud Media. Just have a quick question to Uchifu Mandela. This historic announcement and the Global Flotilla mission being here in South Africa is happening at the backdrop of some very dramatic turn of events in the country. Last week in particular, Babu King at the Lingia, where the visit he facilitated of the Israeli embassy. He came out and said the expulsion of the Israeli Charge d'Affaires Errol Sedman from the country is an attack on his names, an attack on the Abatimbu people. As a member of the traditional leaders' house of the Eastern Cape, how do you respond to that, and how do you respond to how DERCO dealt with the whole visit? How to respond to how the Eastern Cape provincial government also responded to it?
Well, let's first then be clear on this issue that His Majesty King Zwelithini Zibuyele Kaya Dalindyebo just like any other South African, enjoys the constitutional right. It is his right to have freedom of association and freedom of movement. And therefore, in that regard, he's simply exercising his right. But I've said that we also know that the likes of the United Kingdom under Margaret Thatcher regime and the United States under the Ronald Reagan administration supported the apartheid regime to the hilt. And they have been judged harshly by history. And in this account, we as South Africans know truly what it means having lived under 350 years of colonialism and 60 years of a brutal apartheid regime. We can therefore never, having been supported by the international community and ordinary men and women across the globe in isolating apartheid South Africa, and realizing our freedom, being beneficiaries of international solidarity. It says to us we need to continue to be a voice of the oppressed and the most vulnerable. And therefore, in this regard, we want to thank and support the decision that has been undertaken by DECO, because every embassy and ambassador that is in any sovereign state has to adhere to certain protocols. And when you are in violation of those protocols, you will be asked to leave the country. So DECO is exercising their mandate. But it has been a long overdue call. If you will recall that many of us, as far back as 2014, with the DSG then being Jesse Duarte, we used to march to the Israeli embassy with the president of the Women's League, Batabile Rabin, and we would call for the Israeli embassy to be shut down and the ambassador to be expelled out of South Africa. So we fully support the Eastern Cape provincial government and our national government for their stance.
Any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Leila Kama from Radio Islam. So I would like to ask, what security measures are planned to protect participants from potential confrontations or aggression during the voyage and upon arrival? And also after the Spring 2026 mission, what are the plans for sustaining support to Palestine and expanding the non-violent resistance strategy?
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to ask Tiago to answer that first question.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Leila, for bringing this very important question. We are a humanitarian solidarity, non-violent mission for the people of Palestine. So therefore, we are protected by international law. The International Court of Justice, the provisional rulings in the case opened by South Africa against the genocidal state of Israel, it states very clearly that Israel or any other nation are prohibited to hinder any type of humanitarian mission on the way to Gaza. It's not just the global Sumud Flotilla, but any other mission, any single truck that is rotting in the desert of Sinai right now, it's against international law. The border should be opened. And therefore, we know that international law is on our side, despite the fact that they have this United Nations Security Council resolution. This Security Council resolution is not worth more than the Geneva Convention, than the Statute of Rome. And they always think that they don't need to abide by international law. When Chief Mandela was saying that ambassadors that violate the Vienna Convention as well, going way beyond their mandate to go in a diplomatic mission. So therefore, we understand that our mission is completely abiding by international law. Any attempt to block our mission will be a violation of the International Court of Justice, which is the most important tribunal for countries in the whole world. Therefore, we ask any nation, especially the Zionist regime, to not interfere with our mission that is going to Palestinian territorial waters, which is a people that, according to international laws, needs to have the sovereignty to rule their territorial waters without interference of a colonizing force. Therefore, we prepare all of our participants to go in this nonviolent direct action solidarity mission. We do not expect to be intercepted. To be honest, we go with the direct intention of reaching Gaza, of building a primary school that we are bringing all the equipment on our boats, of building over 1,000 doctors to provide support for the Palestinian people, called by the Palestinian people. And we urge the international community to uphold international law and to stop any attempt of the Zionist regime to attack us or to stop us. We train all of our participants understanding that we are dealing with a genocidal regime that does not respect international law. But the way for us to be in solidarity with the Palestinian people is to go on this mission. This mission is a mission that demands courage to go, but it's a small fraction of the courage that every Palestinian shows every single day in Gaza. And it is a high-risk mission, but still a small fraction of the risk that every single children in Gaza have been enduring for over 2 years, and that every Palestinian have been enduring for 8 decades of genocide and ethnic cleansing, of an apartheid colonial state, and led by this racist and supremacist ideology called Zionism. Therefore, we go with our open hearts, with the conscience of the world, understanding that if we don't stop the most hateful ideology of our generation and the most destructive empire of our generation, which is United States imperialism, there's no limit to what they will do. And for the future generations, or for the people right now, we go with our duty and understanding that the most important gesture that international community needs to do, just like the international community did in solidarity with South Africans during apartheid. And just like the South Africans were victorious against a very strong system of oppression, the Palestinian people will be victorious as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And then your second question was about sustained mobilizations and solidarity, right? Okay, I'm gonna give that one to Noah from Tunisia.
Thank you. So the flotilla itself is a catalyzer to push people to mobilize all the world. You know, if we have 100 boats, 200 boats, we don't think that Israel fear this boat because they are 100 or 200. Everyone knows that militarily they can bomb it in a minute, but they fear it because there is a people of all the world in that boat. And the people who are on that boat, they represent their community, they represent their people, they represent their country. So the boat itself, it's not the biggest part of the mission. The biggest part of the mission is the people on the ground, is the people who goes with thousands and march and camping and sitting and land convoy. And this is what we think is the most important with each flotilla, is we are bringing all the people in all the world supporting the flotilla on land. And this is the power of the flotilla, it's not the boat. So the GSF, it's not only a maritime mission or a nautical mission. It's a mobilization without all the people of the world in the ground. So it's not only about our sea mission or our even land convoy. We have work in much area. We work for the prisoners of Palestine. We work with the humanitarian aid. We work with the mobilization on the ground direct action in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in everywhere. And we are expanding our campaigning in all the world, and we are trying to have all our partners and all the world connected to each other, because we know that when we are connected, when we are together, when we can face the imperialism led by the US government and his most ally is the Zionist state. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Any other questions?
Right, so one question would be, in the previous float, I think one of the biggest challenges was mechanical failure of the vessels. We saw a lot of vessels being docked, not being able to sail to sea. How are we going to mitigate that issue this time around? Considering that the number of boats being procured is going to be bigger than the previous missions.
It's a great question, and then I'll just have you ask your question as well, and then we'll answer both.
Development as a representing Turkish military. How do you see the Muslim Turkic Azerbaijan as close ties with Israel and Turkish President Erdogan's coordination with the Trump? Trump says we had the best meeting with Erdogan during the last UN. So shaping your expectation of the Turkish government. Secondly, dozens of ships are joining in people from around the world. Do we have sufficient funding for global Sumud? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your questions. Regarding the boats, I'm gonna have Tony answer that. Our captain.
Okay. So this time compared to the last time, we have much time. So last time we had just 2 months to make that happen. A bit like we worked between recruitment, mechanical part, finding goals, just in 2 months. This time we are preparing since 4 months since the last mission, and we grew. There's number of people, a structure. So we are preparing. We are already preparing all the goals in every port, and we have more. How you say expertise. And so yeah, we are confident that we are gonna have less problems. Anyway, the sea is always unpredictable. So.
Thank you, Tony. And to respond to, sorry, I missed your, okay. Regarding your question, regarding expectations for the Turkish government and others, I will get that to say.
Well, I mean, the expectation is basically global for us. That's why we are mobilizing. That's why we are talking about people movement from everywhere, because the fact that genocide is continuing in Palestine, while there is an absolute silence in the media, where is a complete complicity of so many governments, it is because those governments are enabling Israel. It is impossible for any person to imagine that powerful governments all around the world are not able to force just peace in Palestine, are not able to force an opening for Rafah or entrance of a humanitarian corridor. So when you come to talk about the decisions of different political governments, even the Peace Council, there are no Palestinians involved in this process. How are we talking about peace in Palestine without the Palestinians? How are we talking about peace without including the main rights of the Palestinian people? It does not talk about the right of return. It does not talk about the sovereignty. It does not talk about the right of the Palestinian people for freedom and liberation. And that's why we are people movement. We are not the politicians. We are not the governments, but we are sailing because those governments have continuously failed to do their main duty to protect human rights. Our call is to mobilize in all aspects, political spaces, people, unions, media, legal, all spaces are expected to act. Now, what will happen, as you mentioned, the second question is regard to the fundraising. This is a people movement. And while we are starting to prepare, as Tony has mentioned, we have more than 55 delegations all around the globe, part of this coalition, that are working together to make this a successful mission on land and on sea. As Chief Mandela mentioned, registration is open, and we call on everyone to go through our social media to register and also to support financially this mission, because it has to continue to be an independent mission by the movement of the people for us to continue rejecting that complicity and to continue mobilizing.
Thank you, Jacob. Any other questions?
Sorry, can I ask one? I know we all want to go.
Yeah.
Quick one. Three parts, which, and I want to phrase this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm kind of raining on your parade, but you've mobilized a hell of a lot of resources, it sounds like, right? I mean, you know, especially all those doctors and nurses, which if they can get there, which would do an incredible amount of cures. You know, but presumably you've contemplated the possibility, and you even mentioned it, that it's not going to get there, and that you'll just be arrested and it'll be blocked. I suppose that what if that does happen, what are you hoping to achieve? And I don't mean that in a loaded way at all. I mean that it's an honest question. Thanks.
Thank you for your question. I'm going to give this one to Nadia.
Okay, thanks for the question. I think you missed the part where we said that we were mobilizing the whole world to move together. And that means creating networks, creating people talking on the ground, getting people to use anything with everything they have to talk about the people in Palestine. And I think even though we didn't manage to reach the Gaza shores in the last mission, but we managed to move the whole world to support Palestine. We managed in a way to push Trump to agree on a peace plan, which is better than what we experienced in the past, the genocide that was happening. We managed to move people from all over sectors of the society, the young people, the old people, the people who love animals, the vegan people, the people who eat meat every day 5 times. All of these sectors were moved together to support the Palestinian cause. So it's not about reaching the shores of Gaza, even though we are planning on that. And we have resources and people on the ground who are working. We are working with when we reach the shores of Gaza. But even if we do not reach, we will be able to make great movement. And inshallah, that is what we are planning to do. So maybe 10% is the flotilla, which is going to reach Gaza. Another 90% is the movement of the people with all these plans in action. The land convoys from Maghreb, Sumud, the land convoys from South Asia, and a few other big countries that we will be, inshallah, giving more details in the future. That is going to be mobilized for the people of Palestine. So don't worry.
Thank you, Nadia. Now I'm also going to give the microphone to Susan Abdullah.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to add, I totally agree with Nader in what he's saying. I just want to add to that what we did with the Save to Gaza in 2025 was put Gaza back on the map when everybody was trying to wipe Gaza off the map. So, and we may not have reached Gaza physically, we have reached Gaza and the people in Gaza. They know that we are the people of the world. They know that we care, that we will not stop at anything until we actually break the siege and reach Gaza.
Just to back again on the answer of what we expect of Turkish government, and it's an answer on what we expect of any government. Our answer is we don't expect anything from government. We expect things from people. So what we expect from the Turkish people, we know that the Turkish people love Palestine, love the Palestinians, love Gaza, and we expect a lot from all the Turkish people, whatever their idea and whatever their politics and whatever their difference. So we call the Turkish people to mobilize. We know that the Turkish people has huge energy and all people of the world have huge energy. So we talk directly to the people. We know that the peoples are stronger than the government, and we want the strongest one with us, not the least. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. I think Dave wanted to also add some things here.
Yes, to that one, I totally agree with what Nader said, but just bringing back what Chief Mandela said at the end of his presentation. Any colonial power, they put strategies to commit the extremist violence possible and to repress and oppress people so they don't rise again. So the fact that, as Thiago explained, the violations that Israel commit on the sea of all international law and the Court of Justice, and they continue to do it, is for not only us, for any organization not to mobilize. When governments don't react to the protests that are happening and to the demands of the people, they do that hoping that people stop mobilizing. So the question is not if Israel will commit this crime again at sea or not. Mandela said it seems impossible until it's done, which I second what Susan did, means that we will continue mobilizing, regardless it is sea or land or air. We will continue mobilizing until Palestine is free.
Thank you, Steve. We also have Maria Elena who wants to elaborate on this as well. So apparently it was a great question.
I will be very, very brief. I just want to share with you the example of the country where I come from, that's Italy. And what happened in Italy while the global Sumud Flotilla was sailing, and also before and also after, was a kind of political miracle, because we saw people, not just the activists or the political interested people, but people from every background, every age, every religion, just mobilize. Also people who were not interested in Palestine at all, because they were understanding that what was happening in Gaza was something that was not related just to Palestinian or with people who was sympathizing with Palestinian, but it was a humanity issue. So, and the other thing that I want to add is that, yes, we know that we can be stopped, but still, as Thiago was saying, our goal is to go to Gaza, and we, of course, we will do everything we can to reach Gaza. And we don't have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do if they stopped us? And you have to ask, why are they going to stop us? Are they doing a crime? The answer is yes. So all of us, we have to work in a way that they are not going to commit another crime. So this is the real question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to hear more elaboration on this question as well. So.
No, it's from South Africa. So I think everybody here knows that South Africa exports 23% of the coal requirements of Israel, which fuels the genocide. Without this 23%, Israel will be crippled. So what do we do? So as the solidarity movement, the trade unions, the Palestine solidarity movement, the anti-apartheid movement, our plan is to stop this coal from leaving South Africa's shores to Israel. How are we going to do it? We're talking about land missions, we're talking about sea missions. We as South Africans are going to plan a march to the Richards Bay coal terminal to stop African Rainbow Minerals, to stop Glencore, to take the coal from South African soil to Israel. So I think watch the space, all of you, and be part of this movement. It's not, as you said, how do we sustain? Our objective is to impose sanctions, isolate Israel, and not enable them to continue with the impunity that they are. So we need to come together as South Africans and see what actions we can take. This is a key action, and we urge each and every one of you to join. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Just reiterating that registration is open, and also that we are inviting media to be on board as well. So we invite you to register, all the journalists who are here. Thank you so much for joining this press conference, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
My name is It's okay.
Well done, thank you.
Yeah,